Almost every Nigerian is not healthy. The healthcare workers don't care.
They don't.
People believe that when we say I'm healthy, it means I'm not physically sick. But there are some of us who are not physically sick, but mentally we are down. If the nation were a patient, this patient should be in ICU because we have a whole lot of organ failure. And sometimes we're blaming the doctors, we're blaming the nurses. But we fail to understand that it's not just all about the doctors and nurses. There are other organs that are failing. And until we address them, until we fix them, whatever we're trying to do will not work.
Dr. Fred, how are you doing?
I'm doing very well, sir.
I'm taken in by the sheer measure of advocacy and public enlightenment you do on radio, on social media, and it's amazing. Just following some of that content is pretty much how little we know about health. And oftentimes we think we know, but then you hear things, you're like literally blown away, and the kind of common mistakes we tend to make and all of that. It's such a fine pleasure sitting down with you, my brother.
The pleasure is mine, and I'm happy to be here.
No doubt. I just want to go straight to it because there's just so much in my head medically.
Okay.
Last week, I had to sit down with some medical experts, and I was talking cancer and all of that. I saw something trending on social media. Some woman had died of stage 4 cancer. There were all sorts of things, blood transfusions should it have been, and all of that. I wanted clarity.
Yeah.
And I was taken aback by what I learned. Right. Where those two of them professors, oncologists, hematologists, and one of them the head of department at both the university and the university teaching hospital.
Yeah.
And as they just said, well, at that point, the blood could not even save her.
True.
Because this lady had cancer, breast cancer.
Yeah.
It was all the way to the armpit. What do you people call it now? There's a word.
Metastasized.
Yes. It has metastasized to that point where it wasn't so much about cure, it was more about care.
Yeah.
Palliative measures. And in my dad's experience, the word they use for it is, I can't quite remember it now, but hospice care, and all of that. We know so little. And I'm probably going to come back to that. But the first question I want to ask you is, how healthy is the average Nigerian? From your medical experience, I'm not talking on paper, I'm talking in reality. How healthy are Nigerians, the average Nigerian?
Now, this is actually a difficult question because we don't have any benchmark. But if we should move by the happenings, the events we see around, almost every Nigerian is not healthy. Now, we need to understand what health means. People believe that when we say I'm healthy, it means I'm not physically sick. But there are some of us who are not physically sick, but mentally we are down. And according to the World Health Organization, says health is not just a state of physical wellness. Your mental wellness, your social wellness, even your spiritual wellness are very important. And for someone like me, I try my best to avoid the happenings because it messes me up. So I might be physically fine, but mentally I'm not okay. I think the average Nigerian is not medically or is not healthy at all. It's not.
That's pretty damning.
No, it's not. Yeah, and we should be confident to say this. We shouldn't shy away from it. A lot of us have the knowledge. We know what to eat. We know what to avoid. But sometimes the happenings in the system, you can't run away from them. They follow you even when you try to avoid them.
So all this talk about Nigerians being traditionally resilient and all of that, at the back of it is people just putting up with people who have been bruised and battered mentally, psychologically, psychosocially, and who are struggling but just managing to put up a face.
The average Nigerian is strong. If you look at Nigerians, the things that break others, people break because of those stuff. We laugh with them. And those jokes, those kids, those laugh are coping mechanisms most times. They help us adapt to what is happening. But deep down, at the back end, when we are out of all these smile, laughter, jokes, the reality faces us at home and we are like, this is my reality. So we tend to come out and smile and dance to help us adapt to whatever is happening in the nation.
You're a Nigerian medical doctor, and you've practiced a good number of years now.
Above 10 years now.
Above 10 years. This your fine, young, handsome look should not deceive people. You're not a baby doctor. I'm interested in the Nigerian health sector. What's one lie? What's the biggest lie that Nigerians have been told about the Nigerian health sector or Nigerian healthcare system?
Okay, yeah. I think this is the perfect place for this. The healthcare workers don't care.
They don't.
That is the lie. They don't care. They are out for your money.
Okay,
that is the lie.
All right.
Yeah. The truth is we care. We do care a lot. And you can see this on social media when we complain about Japa syndrome and its effects. If we don't care, nobody would speak up. If we don't care, you won't see doctors begging you to... We actually beg. So the lie is that the doctors are out there for your money. They want you to keep coming back and they want you to be sick. I see people tell me every day, if I don't fall sick, how would you make your money? Listen, the doctor would make his or her money. But the best we can do is to limit the amount of people that fall sick. We do care.
So doctors don't tamper with people's health, like some people fear mechanics do. Solve one problem, create three more.
Any licensed medical doctor would not openly, willingly tamper with your health. I'm saying this in quotes because the system can put you in a position where you might tamper with someone's health. Example, let's say you're burnt out. You're burnt out. It's not your choice, it's not your plan, but somehow you've been sleep deprived for 72 hours. You're putting the patient's life at risk. A doctor is operating and knows that he hasn't paid his house rent or his child will be sent away from school. His mind is beating fast. They could call me at home. He's not 100% concentrated at the job. These are things that we see in our system. And it looks as if the doctors are out there to hurt you. No licensed medical doctor. I'm stressing on this because there are actually people who pose as doctors, who pose as nurses, and they're not even licensed. These people can harm you. They can put you in a position where you keep coming back to them and you blame the good guys. So that's a lie. We actually don't want you to fall sick.
As a 16-year-old, 16-year-old writing my final high school exam, my principal is one of two standout teachers that I ever had. One was the woman who taught me in primary 1 and taught me again in primary 5. And the other one was this principal of mine. While we were writing our final exam, she died. And what took her life? Her youngest child at the time was 11. So 11 years before, when she gave birth to her last born through cesarean section.
Yeah.
Somebody had left the scissors inside of her. 11 years later, it was discovered. They tried to save her life, but the scissors had been there for 11 years and had wreaked enough havoc. And she died. And I remembered as a kid, I really felt pretty disturbed. And probably one of the most profound times. Another time was when I was a kid, probably 5, my younger brother died. My dad was not around. My little brother was purging, and he had been rushed to get help. And to be fair, it wasn't to the hospital, but this was a retired medical practitioner who was, close to the family and ran a well-known pharmacy. So, I mean, was a retired medical. So my mom ran to him and said, my kid is purging, and medication was recommended. My mom, trusting, gave this medication to my kid brother, and he got worse and worse through the night and overnight. By the time they rushed him to the hospital, he died. When the hospital asked what was administered and my mother presented it, they were shocked. The medication prescribed was to do the direct opposite. Direct opposite. It was a laxative. It was something you give to a child who couldn't poop, and this was given to a child that was purging, stooling, and the stooling and the vomiting went out of control. And my mother lost her son, I lost my brother. So as a kid, with that experience, the little I knew of it as I grew, and when this thing happened to my principal, about 10 years later, mentally, I was pretty disturbed. So you mentioned something that made me remember these things now. Doctors, the average doctor would not want to go against his Hippocratic oath.
Yeah.
But sometimes the circumstances, fatigue. I don't think that man meant to prescribe, set out to murder. I don't know what kind of carelessness happened there. This was a very serious matter because there was a serious investigation that went all the way back to the manufacturer. And there was denial. Initially, there was denial. But then it went all the way to the manufacturer, and the manufacturer confirmed that this was a misdiagnosis or misprescription or whatever it was. And then I had all of this. What sometimes causes things like this?
I'm so sorry this happened. And almost everybody listening might have had one or two experiences like this. Why? Okay. We can't really, I don't know if we got the reports of the investigation, but there is something that happened. And let me share my own experience. So I was at the clinic one day and somebody came to me and said, Doctor, I'm having constipation. I'm having constipation. Now, constipation simply means the inability to go to toilets.
Yeah.
And my next question was, when was the last time you went to toilet? And the patient said, just before coming to your office, I used the toilet. What did you say? And then I went to the next question. I asked, so how many times now? Because how many times? He said, for today, I've gone 5 times.
Oh, and you are constipated.
And I said, please, next time, just tell the doctor exactly what is wrong. Don't use any medical term.
Don't
use any medical term.
Use the diagnosis.
Don't try to say, I have constipation. What do I take? I don't know what happened. I can't really pinpoint if, but I've noticed that what if I didn't ask? What if I just said, oh, normal, people call on the phone. I know that doctor is my family doctor, is my friend. Let me just tell him I'm having constipation. And he prescribed something to make you go to the toilet. And then you land at the hospital and you show them what was given to you. They're like, no doctor does that. So maybe there was a miscommunication somewhere. There was. Looking back, because I don't think the case was that critical initially. I think there was a miscommunication. Either the complaint was not passed well to the doctor, or he didn't understand what was said clearly. And this is why we also try to advocate that don't be in a hurry. If something is not clear, you don't understand, always ask. Always ask the doctor. And with this era of internet, it's easy to look at the medications given to you right now.
Yeah.
Somebody was prescribed the medication, and the person checked and said, this medication is actually for people with seizure disorder. So why are you giving it to me? Not knowing that it can actually be used for other stuffs. But there was a miscommunication. The patient did not really understand why he or she was taking that medication. So if he did not check by himself, and this is where some of us fall short, the practice of medicine in Nigeria is tiring. Now, I went somewhere and I discovered that the time for consultation is 15 minutes given per patient. And there are over 60 patients waiting to see that doctor. Normally, it should be 30 minutes per patient. So all the information that the doctor should give to you, or all the questions that you were supposed to ask, there is no time for that.
It's got to be compressed.
You have to, no matter how long the discussion needs to be, it must be cut down to 15 minutes. So these things can happen, and it's sad that we are dealing with human lives here. I think there was a miscommunication somewhere, and it's so sad that it got so bad. It got so bad.
So, Chimamanda's loss has been trending. I don't know whether you followed that.
Yeah.
You see, if you've never lost thank goodness I've never lost a child, but I've seen my parents. I have an idea of what it can be like to lose a child. So I'm struggling to really contemplate what that couple is going through.
Sure.
If you've followed it a little, what do you think might have happened? Any idea? If you're not sure, you don't have to say.
Yeah. In cases like this, every medical professional will try not to give an opinion immediately.
Understandable.
The reason is because there's so much we don't know. There's so much. The center where this happened to be one of the best centers in our region. But
I hear.
Yeah, but the truth is that when things come up on social media, most times our emotions come to play. But we really need to know if indeed what was said that was given to this child was actually the right dose. We don't know. If there was something going on, or if there was a breach in the management process, we don't know. And it's sad. It's very sad, because imagine somebody as influential as the family going through this. How much more those of us who are so much at the lower part of the ladder? How would they respond? We need investigation for so many reasons. Number one, to help us as medical professionals. Did anybody cut corner? I saw the write-up, and part of the write-up said the baby was carried on the shoulder. Why?
Twice.
Why? Sometimes medical professionals do that in a bid to be seen as helping. When it turns out good, you are grateful to the doctor. Doctor, thank you. Thank you for carrying my child quickly because of this. If it turns out bad, that singular act can also be used against you. We honestly do need the Medical and Dental Council of Nigeria to investigate this and also publish this, because it's going to do so much harm to the profession. So much harm. We don't know the doctors involved. I heard that he has been suspended. But this is not a one-man team. There are so many people here. And I think everybody should be questioned, should be investigated, and let's get the result out, because we don't want to lose another child. I'm so sorry this happened to the family. It can happen in Abuja. It can happen tomorrow. And if we don't find out what happened and how to address it, we are putting other kids and other individuals at risk.
So, you know me, you've come to my assistance medically multiple times through the years. You do know I have a hematology patient in my family. I'm concerned about over-medication. Sometimes I feel there's a lot of over-medication that goes on. And I'm a layman, you understand. So I want to hear what you think. Sometime last year, my little boy was hospitalized. Vitals weren't looking great. Oxygen levels low. You know how it is with those kind of kids. They don't have healthy cells and all of that. The oxygen levels low. What was his heart rate?
Heart rate, yeah.
High. And we were going for several days. We were managing this. And it was getting worse. You know, it started, like a small problem, fever, a nosebleed, and then things were beginning to get out of hand to the point where we were advised that they needed to pump him with blood to stay alive, back and forth. And we had to, I think we traversed, 3 different hospitals. So we got to one of really the best in the country. And though the care concern was they were pretty polite, very nice, but at that point, antibiotics after antibiotics. In one hospital, they had started a regimen of antibiotics. We went to another hospital, they said they had to, they've been loading this kid with antibiotics. Yeah, we have to start. What did they do? They gave him this and that. You know what? Okay, we will now give him this, one of the two, but with this one, it just kept going on. And the kid was literally, we were losing the kid. Until the point where we had sought external medical consultation. And there's one kind woman who was like, when she almost went bonkers when she heard how much medication had been administered. At the end of the day, we took the kid away from the hospital. We took him home. The moment that kid stepped out of the hospital, it's fine. Till now. Fine. Once he just left that environment, again, I can imagine that maybe the tension, the kid, all the, the syringes and all of that, like the blood pressure, the heart rate, probably it was. But the moment we were trying to get him to another hospital, but this medical consultant who had international licensing literally said, that kid has seen enough hospitals. You understand? Manage him with this and that. Take him home. The kid was playing that night. As, as a father and as an ordinary, sometimes these things baffle me. What could it be? Do you sometimes feel that over-medication is a problem in these parts, at least?
So first of all, before talking about the over-medication, I'm thinking taking the child home and the child recovered. What if taking the child home it got worse? You understand?
Yeah.
I think that was a gamble. I don't know. That was risky, but we came out lucky. Yeah, that was the word. Now, is it possible to over-medicate? Yes, very possible. Why does it happen? For so many reasons. Why? So many reasons. Why? And my greatest question, yeah, because we keep asking questions, is, did you ask them, why don't we reduce this load of medication?
Yeah, you know me, I'm usually calm, but I think I lost my temper that day because I literally walked one of the out of the ward. I was like, they're going to come and administer another injection. I was like, enough, enough, just enough. Constantly pumping things into him, constantly drawing blood. I can understand, and I'm very cooperative with health, but on that occasion, sent another mutual of ours, because I think there was a bug in the air, that period last year. So a mutual friend of ours, his own kid, even younger than my kid, also picked the similar symptoms. A good number of my friends, there was literally a bug, and the symptoms were
almost the same.
And this guy, this is at a level higher than me, and they had this doctor who refused to administer medication. I'm not sure. He was telling me, I was told the protocol, but this pediatrician, this particular pediatrician, is very anti-medication. What he does, I don't know. But while I was still there for several days with my own kid, this little kid was out. It was also part of where we got how we got so emboldened. Not to mention the fact that another expert who is a Nigerian, but who has also received international training, questioned. So it wasn't just us. It was like, no, that's enough. It's too much. In fact, her reaction was like, oh God, that's too much. And in the end, I feel that we've talked because this is very personal.
Yeah.
But I like what you said. Over medication happens, and it's a risk. I wasn't prepared to lose my kid. It was instructive to me that from the point where the solution should never be worse than the problem.
It happens. In case anybody's listening and like, is he trying to hide and say there's nothing like that? It does happen, and it shouldn't be. What I think should be done is institutions need to have protocols, guidelines in place. If this patient does not meet this criteria, let's not give. And at the same time, carry the patient relatives along. If you do so, I don't think we'll be having much of this back and forth workout. We were supposed to give your child this, but our protocol. Now, it's also difficult again, because what if they hadn't given? They were trying to say, no, we don't want to over-medicate the child, and the child kept getting worse. And you'll be like,
yeah.
So why did you hold the medication back from my child? I didn't tell you to stop. So it's a dicey one, and this is where protocols need to be set in place and guidelines, and we work with them and carry the patient relative also along. And believe and trust the system. It's hard again to mention. I'm trying to say trust the professionals, trust them. But you ask me, how do I trust them when I'm having my child and my child is not improving? What do? I need to seek external consults. And whoever is giving external opinion to needs to understand the peculiarity of that system. Imagine somebody practicing in the US, speaking with a doctor practicing in Nigeria. What they have on ground is different from what you have in the US.
The protocols are different.
They are different. The medications are different. It's hard again. Sometimes the medications might be fake. A patient has a problem. we've diagnosed the problem, we're giving the right medication, but there is no improvement. So we have a whole lot of problem going on. What if the medications we were given were fake? And then we ask, so why don't you get original? That is not supposed to be our duty. There are people who are supposed to do that. And we don't have these problems abroad. So when somebody says, I'm giving you this particular medication, and I believe that it will work for you because they know and they trust that medication. But over here, we tend to move from one medication to the other, from one brand to the other, because sometimes we might just be working with fake medicines too.
Fair enough. I appreciate your forthrightness. So there's this thing I've had time and time over, from a much younger age, because I've been privileged to have quite a number of medical professionals as friends, family, and all of that, locally and internationally as well. So I tend to ask that questions of new medical friends too, and I tend to get a similar response. I don't know what to. So there is this rumor that doctors and medical professionals are amongst the group that use the least medication. True, false, I'm not sure. I'll put you on the hot spot.
This question doesn't have a true or false answer. But I'll answer it like this. Personally, I have issues with family members because they believe that when you have this problem, it must be this. I must take this. And I tell them, no, you don't need it. And it looks as if, but you give it to outsiders. Now, let me say something. When you come to the hospital and the doctor, you've waited for 2 hours or 3 hours, and the doctor tells you, sir, I've heard all your complaints, but honestly, you don't need any medicine. What you need to do, take time off, sleep, take water, eat fruits, and you should be fine. Tell me, what would you say about that doctor? You say the doctor does not know what he or she is doing.
Personally, as Femi, I will be happy. But I know that the vast majority of people will say, Baba, give me something.
Disappointed.
Give me something, yeah.
The average Nigerian wants medicine. They rate you as being good based on how you prescribe medications for them. And we tell you, no, you don't need, we honestly don't need medicines. And this is why it's disturbing when we hear people say doctors always want to prescribe medicines for you. If you notice, we beg people, don't take anyhow unless you absolutely need it. But I think it goes into the ear and comes out of the left side of the ear. Again, back to the questions you asked. A whole lot of us don't easily take medications unless we need it. And even when a doctor is sick, he or she wouldn't want to take medicines until it gets to a point where it looks like I have no other option, because we understand the process of what is going on. But the layman doesn't understand and believes that if you don't prescribe medicines for him, then you don't know what you're doing.
Fair enough. I don't think we need to
I think I answered.
Overflog it. I think you answered
that.
I think you've said enough, and let he who has an ear listen. Let's come back to our country. If Nigeria were your patient, what would you diagnose as the main disease of our healthcare system?
Okay, we have a multi-systemic, in medicine, it's what we call multiple organ failure. Yes. And that's very critical. When you hear a diagnosis like that, most times they're in ICU, when you hear things like that. So I think, God, as a nation, if the nation were a patient, this patient should be in ICU, because we have a whole lot of organ failure. And sometimes we are blaming just the eyes. We're blaming just the healthcare. We're blaming the doctors. We're blaming the nurses. But we fail to understand that it's not just all about the doctors and nurses. There are other organs that are failing. And until we address them, until we fix them, whatever we're trying to do would not work. Let's go back again to the health sector. If you look at the number of doctors, nurses, pharmacists, radiologists, radiographers in the country, every day they are leaving. Nobody's talking. The average man does not understand what that means. It doesn't make sense to you until you have a need to seek medical attention. And then you understand that those people that are leaving the country, there's a vacuum. So if I were seeing 50 patients before, the other doctor was seeing 50 and he leaves, those other 50 will come to me. Then they become 100. Oh, I went to the hospital and there was no bed. The doctors are wicked. But we fail to understand that there is somebody at the top who is supposed to make provisions for the bed. And when you make provisions for the bed, there are people that are supposed to ensure that the people on the bed can be taken care of. So you don't build a world-class, we like that word, we build a world-class hospital. Who will man those hospitals? So we have a multi-systemic problem, multiple organ failure, and I'm using the opportunity to appeal on behalf of healthcare workers, not just doctors right now. It's hard. It's honestly hard. If I were to come to this world again, and somebody says, "Guy, would you want to be a doctor in this plus 2, 3, 4?" I will say no. Because you're fighting so many battles. You're fighting personal battles and you're fighting systemic battles. And the people who are supposed to fix this system for you, they are running out. The person who's supposed to attend to the patients in the ICU and ensure that these organs are fixed is in France or is in Germany. What is that telling the doctors? And this is why we should also celebrate some of us here, because we are working with dilapidated tools. Some of the tools we have here, it won't even be in museums abroad. It won't. And this is why the guys here in Nigeria are trying, and sometimes they say, I can no longer take it anymore. It's either I leave the system or I leave the profession as a whole. So it's a sad one, and that is my diagnosis for these patients.
I hear you. I'm going to push you a little more, because we have good doctors in this country, despite all the brain drain that is happening. It's getting worse, I guess. In 1998, I was a young man in my early to mid-20s, and I was sick. First hospital treated me for malaria. They ran their test, said he has malaria. They pricked me all over. I got better, went back home, then got worse, much worse. And clearly they were like, those people don't know what they're doing, so another hospital. And got there. They ran their test and said, oh, he has typhoid. And then another round of syringe, whatever it was. And I got slightly better. I was discharged. Then I got way worse. And at the time, I was rushed to another hospital at this time, which was a fantastic hospital, owned by the then State Commissioner for Health. I passed out. In fact, it was so bad that I was, later they told me I was speaking nonsense. As a broadcast, because, as a broadcast professional then, my boss was there. My boss said, you were speaking bad English. I've never heard you speak bad English. I panicked. He said, just before you passed out, you were speaking bad. Only God knows what I was saying or how I was saying it. I ended up there. It was one man. One man. And this doctor was on his way to Saudi Arabia. He just was there that night. First thing he did, first thing he told them, what he couldn't treat me. He couldn't administer any treatment. He needed to crash my temperature because it was crazy.
Over the roof.
And then he did his blood work and all of that. Administered, kept me under control. By the next morning, I'd regained consciousness. By morning, came, sat by me, and said, "Have you heard of cerebral malaria before?" And then he broke it down to me. I was really scared. It was the first time I was hearing about it. That was what I heard. But I'd been to 2 hospitals. Nobody knew what it was. And he told me. He told me how terrible it could be. Survival rates and all of that in these parts. Anyway, he did his best for me. After doing everything, when he discharged me, I was told, no more medication. He said, "Do you know anybody?" And again, I don't know whether I should say this, but this is a professional. Said, "Do you know anybody who can prescribe some local herbs for you that you trust?" So at this time, he was just like, the hospital has done what they can for you. Now, he did, I think he saved my life. Again, remember, I was in my early to mid-20s, and I had had all these other previous experiences. And I'm grateful. I look back. So let me come to the question I want to ask.
Yeah.
There are brilliant doctors in this country.
Yeah.
The country continues to lose many of them. But despite all of that, Dr. Fred, hospitals still struggle to function. And though you've mentioned it, I'm wondering, where's the system really broken? And I want you to say it as you know it, if it's comfortable for you to say. What is going on? It's not like we don't have intelligent medical people, but it's just tough. So I know it's a lot what I've poured out to you. You feel like you're probably saying I didn't sign up for this. But what is going on?
I will share a story. I don't know. The story, imagine you were in medical school. Your teachers training you, you graduate. And one day you went for an interview to work abroad. And in that interview, you saw your teachers, the same people who trained you. You saw them in that same interview, trying to leave the system. It tells you a lot. It tells you that they have tried, they think they could fix the system, but they gave up. Where is the fault from? We need to be sincere with ourselves. We very need to ask questions, and we need to hold some people responsible. Everybody at the top needs to answer the question. I'm here. I can't do much more than what you give to me, no matter how intelligent I am. But when I go into a system that has all those things in place, you see how brilliant I am. And you'll be like, Nigerian doctors are very good now. Whenever they go abroad, they do very well. What happened to them? A doctor is operating with torchlight. Who does that? And again, when we speak out, when we ask these questions, people are like, you guys are selfish. So number one, we have a funding problem. We have a corruption problem. We have a problem with people who are crazy about titles. They want to be at the top, but they don't want to do anything. We have a problem with politics. People are playing politics with human lives. So when I start speaking right now, the next thing you hear is, who does he support? Is he here or here? No, we're not talking about that. We're talking about saving someone here. An accident happened, and first responders were not there. Would I go there and save that life? No. Funding problem, leadership problem. And the truth is that the people at the foot soldiers, can do absolutely nothing. The least we can do is to talk about it. And if nobody does anything, we leave. And this is why I say we shouldn't be building new hospitals. It's waste of money. All the ones we have, what have we done with them? Revamp them, put in the equipment, employ everybody that you need to employ, pay them well, and then hold them accountable when something goes wrong. If something goes wrong, you've given me everything I need and something goes wrong, hold me accountable. But how would somebody be treating a patient and you tell the patient to go buy syringe outside? Things that happen. You borrow hand gloves from another patient to take care of another patient. You hear things like there is no power at the hospital, there's no electricity, and you have babies in the ICU. Sorry, in the special care baby units that need 24-hour power supply. So there's little we can do, and we didn't see this when we signed up. If somebody had sat me down and said, these are the things you will face, and in 2026, you guys will be at the receiving end from your own colleagues abroad, because those healthcare professionals who are abroad believe that those who are in-house, who are here, are not doing what they need to do. And the people who you are trying to also help believe that you're not doing. So you are receiving from left, right, front, and back. And to worst it off is that you're not even being paid. They tell you your reward is in heaven. And for every medical professional listening, those days they tell you medicine is a humanitarian service. You're saving human life. But right now, it's not a humanitarian service. It's a job. You have to get paid. You have to do your job well. And if anything goes wrong, you'll be held accountable. And this is why, if you're not giving what you need to function, stop working. We've patched the system for too long. So the people at the top believe that if you can patch last year, why can't you patch again this year? So we keep patching and patching until things go bad, and we run and pass it to the next person. So let's stop patching and just let the system collapse on the head of the leaders so that they can wake up and see what's going on.
On a scale, say of 1 to 10, how dangerous is it for the average Nigerian to fall seriously ill in this country?
Let me paint it well so we can all understand. Forget the average Nigerian. As a doctor, if you fall ill, seriously ill, you can't even take care of yourself as a doctor. This is not the average Nigerian. This is a doctor. Even in your own facility where you work, you might find it very difficult to afford healthcare for yourself in the present day Nigeria. So nobody should pray to fall ill. And this is why we preach preventive medicine. And we beg. We keep begging. There are some things you can avoid, for God's sake. And you hear things like, but come on now, something must kill a man, a man must keep body and soul together. Somebody will die one day. And my answer is, if we all die one day, why don't you just hold the naked wire and just die now? So we know you wouldn't want to do that. You want to live 50, 60, 70. And there are some things you can prevent. I see some challenge they do on social media, on TikTok and the rest. You see young people, they jump, they climb things. And I see my Nigerian folks do the same thing. And I ask, do you know how hard it is to see an orthopedic surgeon or a neurosurgeon? We don't have them. So if for any reason you need a neurosurgeon right now, even if you can afford it now, even if you are the top 1%, you'll be on the queue. You'll definitely be on the queue. So what you can do for yourself is, as sad as it is, number one, pray and beg God. Why? Somebody had an accident. Somebody was abroad and came to Nigeria for celebration, 30 December, and didn't go back again. Pray to God. Because you could be involved in an accident, even not your fault, maybe another driver.
Yeah.
Or a reckless motorbike rider. And then you're on the road. And know what happens to you? Everybody begins to snap you. Nigerians don't know how to respond to emergencies. We don't have first responders. So even if we can take you, you can't even get to the hospital on time because of hold up. So you'll be stuck in hold up. And then when you get to the hospital, they tell you there's no bed space. Oh, tell you to deposit. Oga, you have to deposit. If you don't deposit, we can't take care of you. And these are the mess we find ourselves in. That is why nobody should fall sick.
Not in other climes, there are certain techniques, medically useful techniques that are taught. Like if somebody drowns, now you have to administer what is CPR.
Yeah, CPR.
CPR. And you'd be surprised how, that many people understand, or a child chokes on so can't breathe well, And even police are trained
to give CPR.
But here, nobody knows anything. So you have to wait and hope and pray to get to the hospital, and that traffic would let you get there.
I believe you've heard this word, BID, brought in dead.
Yeah.
A lot of BIDs are not supposed to be BIDs.
Which also means DOA.
Dead on arrival.
Yes.
Yeah. Our priorities are skewed in this part of the world. The average young Nigerian wants to dance online, is averse to knowledge. So when you present anything in whatever form, in Pidgin, in Yoruba, in Hausa, in Igbo, I beg, come on, don't be that one I can't do for here. I just want to dance and have fun. And that is why the people at the top too can do this for us. If you see the algorithm of the social media in those in Asia, is different from the algorithm we have here. The algorithm, they made it clear that what you show our kids are things that will stimulate them mentally. It will challenge them mentally. The algorithm. So every child over there in Asia, I don't want to just mention them, you see them solving maths and science. Our algorithm is fixed to mess us up mentally. What is the Minister of Information and Communication doing with these media bodies? Can't you talk? Can't you invite them?
Or the National Orientation Agency.
I'm not saying nobody should dance, please. I love it. I love saying these things. But if a child scrolls on social media and sees 10 videos, and out of those 10 videos, 4 are on first aid, or on CPR, or how to respond to poison. Of recent, a very popular doctor spoke about not giving your child palm oil to drink when the child takes poison. And when you go to the comment section, you weep. I beg, shut up. We've been doing that now. Or somebody is convulsing. You've heard, we all know that. A child is convulsing. And you hear, put spoon in the mouth. Put your hand, because if the teeth closes, the child will die. And we tell you, no, now, come on. No matter what you do, even if you leave that child like that on the floor, that seizure will surely go down. But no, nobody wants to listen to that. It's what our forefathers, this is what we have been doing. So you have to burn the legs, you have to pour red oil into the mouth, you have to rub onions, they'll tell the mother to urinate over the face of the baby. And these are things that we believe. And when we come on the internet to tell you that these things don't work, no, let's change. So you guys don't know what we're talking about. So we need more knowledge. We need to fix our algorithm, because some of us are being social engineered. A lot of us are weak. Critical reasoning is bad. We don't know a lot of things. And we are proud that we don't even know. And we are not ashamed to know that we don't know.
So if a snake bites me, I shouldn't quickly drink palm oil, petrol, or kerosene.
The truth is that most of these snake bites are not even venomous.
They're not venomous, yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
But you know what you see? First of all, they tell you to cut that region and suck out the poison. God help you that you don't have a cut in your mouth. And indeed, that bite was not from a very deadly snake. You could suck the poison and die, and the person that was bitten will stay alive. So there are a lot of things we need to know. To address that, if you get bitten by a snake, remain calm. If you can, immobilize that limb. don't start running from where you're running, because the more you run, you increase the blood circulation. So if the poison is at your foot right now, before you get to your destination, is now at the heart. So you have to remain calm. Sometimes we tell people above the region of the bite, you can tie. Occasionally you loosen so that you don't get that limb dead, and then get to the nearest hospital.
All right. Fair enough. I like what you said about what we don't know. And we learn by just studying. My precious late mom and I had a major fight when I first became a dad. So she had come to do omugwo. And so she, after bathing the child, she started shaking the child. And I was like, no, please don't. She was like, why not? I said, no, it's not safe. And I started speaking English to her and trying to explain to her that the weight ratio of the head relative to the neck and the rest of the body that's the reason it's not balanced yet. Yeah. That's the reason why you have to you have to be careful with the child's head. And that I'd read something that said shaking a baby is very dangerous.
Yes.
You might not see the damage done, but much of it might affect the child's ability to handle certain complex things like mathematics and stuff.
Yeah.
And my mom looked at me and said, is it because I'm your mother? If it was your wife's mother, would you tell her this thing, not to shake your baby? Is that not how I shook you? I was like, oh, no wonder I didn't like maths. And my mother got upset. He left my house, and then we settled later, and she came back. But you see what you said about the ignorance that we have, and the fact that sometimes we also have pride. You don't want to be told stuff. And you medical professionals are also full of pride.
How?
I will tell you why. You ask a doctor a question, please,
Yes.
Can I understand this? And they look at you like, why are you asking me? I'm the professional. Whatever I tell you, take. But you see, that person might not be a professional. But that person might just be somebody who just likes to ask questions and likes to understand. You understand? So, and we've seen that in times where some people just like, and on occasion, you would see a doctor, you would ask a question, and he would look at you. I wish more patients ask questions like this.
Correct.
And then they will help you. In fact, if they are going to go one route, much of what I know is by having conversations with doctors.
Correct.
3 out of maybe 4 out of 5 will give you an attitude. But there's always that one that will be like, this is good.
So the thing is, to anyone listening right now, first of all, I want to apologize in case you ask a doctor something and they toned you down. It's wrong. It's very wrong. The doctor should be willing and happy to respond to you. The reason why most doctors don't respond right now, I'm using now, is because of the patient load. I have seen you for 15 minutes and the next patient is waiting and you're asking me questions. I'm not using myself, please, because I explain. But I'm trying to explain to you why this happens sometimes. Doctor tells you, I'm sorry, can you go out and wait maybe when I'm free? Sometimes some doctors don't even know that they are supposed to explain to you. And then for every doctor who explains to you, you should be grateful and appreciate that doctor, because the vast majority of doctors right now don't have the time. It's not about pride here. No, this is not pride. It's about, number one, not knowing that you owe the patient this explanation. You owe the patient. Number two, the patient load. The doctor to patient ratio is now very bad, very poor. So we don't have the luxury of time. Sometimes we need to draw some things and explain to you. No, there are some patients. There's one patient I will never forget in my life. When she was pregnant, she asked everything that first pregnancy, and I was happy for her. She said, they told me to do this. Please, let me ask. She kept asking. And again, some people don't even know that they can ask. It's your right to ask. You shouldn't be scared. Previously, we see doctors as gods. Is a doc, don't talk to the doctor. But we've come to realize in this generation that the doctor is just like you. The only difference is that this person went to a medical school and you studied architecture. This person is a doctor and you are a video editor. That's the only difference. In your own field, I would ask you, please, why are you not color grading? You understand? It's your right to ask, and you shouldn't feel ashamed. And we tell people, even when you're going to the hospital, sometimes write some things down so that you don't forget what you're about to ask the doctors. Doctor, sorry, I beg. As part of all this, there's this question. There's something I saw on social media. They said I should do this, please. And social media is also very deadly.
Dangerous place.
Very, very. Some things you could take on social media could cause you a whole lot of problems when you go to the hospital. This is why, again, people should look for hospitals that they trust, doctors that you can trust, that somehow has the humility and has the time. Because the doctor who has not slept for 3 days, who is being owed salary, who has to be at another hospital, honestly would not have the time to respond to all your questions.
All right, good enough. Let's talk affordability, access, and inequality. So tell me what you think. How different is healthcare for the rich Nigerian versus the poor Nigerian, and what the implication of that gap is for survival?
To the rich, there is no more affordability here right now, because the system can get to you, whether you're rich or you're poor. You can have all the means to afford the health care, but you can't even arrive at that facility to afford the health care. With the gap for the poor, I think the poor should venture into health insurance. The poor, we're not talking about you know where you find yourself. If you don't have a health insurance in this present day Nigeria, I think you are putting yourself up for disaster. You can't afford everything from your pocket. Again, insurance will not cover everything for you, because people believe, I have a health insurance. My organization enrolled me for a health insurance, therefore I'm entitled to this. You are not entitled to everything, no. But to an extent, it will take off that pressure off your pockets. Why is this happening? A lot of us don't know. People don't know that you can afford and you can pay for health insurance, whether you are in the formal or in the informal sector. Whether you sell tomatoes, whether you are a bus conductor, whether you are a cleaner, you can access health insurance. You don't have to be at the very top hospitals. There are hospitals around where you can register for a health insurance and it's be given. So if you don't have a health insurance right now, then there is problem. Because healthcare is expensive. Paying for doctor's time. People call me, doctor, I want to speak with you. And I tell them, I say, Oga, sorry. You see, the most precious thing I have is my time right now. And giving it out, it holds a whole lot of value to me. I'm sorry, please, visit this hospital. I'm assured that you would not even pay half of what you will pay to speak with me. Go here, you will open a card, you will see a doctor, they will examine you, and you'll be fine. Why am I saying this? Because everybody has bills to pay. The hospitals also needs to get their consumables again. Paying for admission, paying for surgery, paying for medications. Quality medications too are not cheap.
Replenishing stock.
No. If you don't have a health insurance and you're listening to me, the best thing you can do for yourself is right now seek for health insurance facilities. Even if you are abroad and you have family members in Nigeria, you can enroll them on a health insurance. It doesn't put pressure on you. Those emergency calls, we need to make a deposit right now. Insurance can help you take care of that immediately, and then you can sort the other bills later.
Thank you. Dr. Fred, you are based in Lagos. Lagos traffic. So if there is a medical emergency at 4-5 p.m. at the heart of. Do you know of any air ambulances in Lagos? There's an emergency. The roads are blocked.
The question should be, do we have any facility, how many facilities in Lagos that have a helipad, a healthcare facility that has a helipad? First of all, that's you understand what I'm about.
Yeah.
So if you have a helipad, it simply means that we can take you and get you there. How many? Number one. Number two, our emergency paramedics. Have you seen? We don't. How many Nigerians know that if you're in traffic and you hear an ambulance, you have to give way? You know, a doctor died in traffic, a very senior doctor, I think during the COVID era, a very senior doctor, I think in a resurgence, had an emergency and was stuck in traffic and died. Every Nigerian needs to know what to do in terms of an emergency. We need to have at every point. I was asking myself, for those who stay around the Lekki Ekpe Expressway, if there was an accident, which hospital? Ask yourself. So let's say you're driving and there's an accident right now. Can you pinpoint a hospital where you say, in the next 5 minutes, I can drive in here and we'll get access to care? Which one? It's hard. And even if you know that hospital, traffic, around 4-5 p.m., you're stuck in traffic. So you have to beg. And that is why people, they now use the motorbike, which is not done. Well, what I think every leader, every governor, every stakeholder, every senator, the minister of health should do, please cut down on your excessive spending and channel this to health. Do this for the sake of the coming generation. If you look at the healthcare budget, 4.5%, and even that 4.5% of the total budget, sometimes they don't even release everything. Please get paramedics, invest in healthcare education, invest heavily. Make medicine, make healthcare interesting for people to study. If you ask a young child right now in primary school, or let's say secondary school, how many of you want to be doctors? Previously, then in my time, I'm in science class, I want to be a doctor. Ask them now, how many? I want to be a yahoo boy. I want to be a singer.
An influencer.
Social media influencer. And we've left this area. So what we need to do is make these things interesting again for kids. Invest more in competitions. We had what we call jet competitions.
Junior engineers, technicians, and scientists.
We have what we call speak outs. I beg to differ, things like that. We need to invest more in that, for God's sake. Because a time will come when you are 70 and when there is no doctor, you go to a place and you can't even find a doctor to take care of you.
Which takes me to this area, there's medical tourism, which the powerful Nigerian leaders tend to do a lot of.
Yes.
So to the point you were making, what message does it really send when Nigerian leaders typically go abroad for any medical, sometimes even the slight ones?
I just headache.
What does it do to the trust of us locals in healthcare system? I mean, you know about these things.
When they go abroad, most of the people they see there are also Nigerians. The same people you run away from. When you go there, you meet some of them. What it does to the average Nigerian, it breaks our hearts. What it does to the healthcare workers, it breaks our heart. If you can't use this facility, what are you telling me? What hope do you want me to give to this woman who came in labor 2 a.m. bleeding when there is no blood bank service? What do you want me to tell her? What do you want me to tell her when we are supposed to take her for surgery and there is no power? but you and your kids are abroad, and you guys are having the best of healthcare. So it's hard, and people should understand that any doctor and any healthcare worker you see in the hospital, they're actually staying back, using the little they have to take care of you, and hold your leaders accountable. Ask them questions. Ask them questions.
Let's leave the urban center and go to our rural communities. What health care crisis might be brewing in our rural communities that those of us in the urban centers are probably ignorant of?
Quackery.
Oh.
Yeah. There are a lot of people who pretend to be doctors, to be nurses, and they are cashing out in those centers. Why? Nobody can checkmate them. The people also over there, they don't have the luxury of finding out who is who. So quackery thrives. Somebody could just wake up and open a center and call himself a doctor and tell you that I can operate. And when you realize this person never attended the four walls of a medical school. So those rural areas are plagued with quackery. And it's very difficult again. Some of them are in the urban centers. When you try to report, oh God, when you try to report and try to call the attention of the regulatory bodies, they can't even do anything. They could arrest this fellow, and by next week, this fellow is back again in the system. So those are the challenges we face. We need more primary healthcare centers. We need more of them. We need to send doctors and nurses and other healthcare professionals, community health workers. We need to send them into those areas. We need to build those places. Some conditions that should be at the teaching hospital could be handled at the primary healthcare center. But no, they are not functional. And this is where quackery thrives.
Interesting. I want to talk lifestyle, prevention, and culture. And I'm thinking, what are some of the most common health problems Nigerians, right now are ignoring that could explode in no time, decade more or less or something?
There are two of them. Two. One is kidney. The other one is mental. Kidney because a whole lot of Nigerians abuse medication. And you can see that in the number of cases, people coming down with kidney problem, kidney failure, people going for dialysis, people taking alcohol. Of recent, we heard that there are now so many fake alcohol. First of all, alcohol is bad. First of all, it is bad. Now imagine
you now contrive to take the
fake alcohol.
What does that even mean? What is fake? I thought alcohol was...
No, so alcohol, according to research institutes and even the World Health Organization, they say alcohol is a toxic substance, first of all.
First, in chemistry, it's also methyl alcohol.
Now imagine you thought you were taking a popular brand of alcohol, right? But what you are taking is now worse than what you thought you were taking. That is a problem. So kidney issues. The next one is a plague of smoking. Or let's use the word drug abuse.
Okay.
Let's just use that word. You watch music videos. It's difficult to find music videos without people taking substances. And then something I see, I think I should say it again. When these young men start misbehaving after taking those substances, whether Kana or Moli, whatever they call them, they begin to slap them. I don't know if you've seen the video. They slap. So I asked myself, what is the relationship between this slap? Are you trying to use the slap to chase away the effect? It does nothing. The plague that would come down with a lot would be kidney failure, and a lot of people will come down with psychosis. People are smoking a whole lot. People can access these substances at any point. We are not educated. We are not going after the young ones. And these are the people we are hoping to be engineers, to be pilots, to be doctors tomorrow. So these are two major problems. Forgetting that we have issues with hypertension, no problem. But in the nearest future, a whole lot of kidney failure will be seen in the system.
So let me go from this, I want to go to personal accountability to tie it in. What would you consider the top health screenings that every Nigerian adult should take seriously, but that they rarely do?
Okay, let's talk about, let's not try to break the bank here. Your blood pressure. Your blood pressure. This should be something you know. Nobody should be asking you, when was the last time you checked your blood pressure? The next thing you should be checking should be your blood sugar. Why? Your diet. Most of the things we eat. Some of us, we don't have the luxury to pay attention to our diets, whether we're eating balanced diet or not. So check your blood pressure, check your blood sugar, and then if you can, check your kidneys. The reason we have to check, I keep saying this, if you have a car and you drive that car for 1 year, would you be confident to take that car out without even servicing the car? No. Your body is much more than that car. This body is actually what you use to produce money. This body is actually what you use to engage in meetings. If you can't take care of the body, then what are you talking about? So go for your blood pressure checks. It's easy, it's cheap. Sometimes you don't even pay. You can go to any pharmacy and check your blood pressure. You can check your blood sugar. You can check your kidneys.
You can get what is it? Anemometer or
glucometer.
The glucometer.
A glucometer.
You know, that you can pick up. My wife always has them, so we're constantly checking some of these things.
But they tell you again is, I don't know if you heard the sentence, says, with you they find you go see them. If you heard me like that, see people that go for check every time. But you can't be too careful, especially when you live in a nation like ours. And most of these conditions don't give you early signs. You hear a young man tell you, doctor, but I did not know now. It just happened. How come? These things can be going on for years without you having any clue at all. And then just one day, you hear, but that young man, I saw him last week, he was fine. And then this week, you hear he's on admission, he's on dialysis, and it's gone. So this is why you have to monitor yourself. You have to check.
I agree. But Dr. Fred, do not be too harsh on those people who have their circumspection. For instance, there has been recent studies to show, and you would know these things. Take biopsy, for instance. Pretty important, right? To try to figure out whether you have cancer. But there are studies that show that biopsy sometimes fast tracks metastasis to the point where, so if you have cancer cells and all of that, and they hit you with that much radiation, it can lead to those growth rapidly increasing. And I had that conversation because I asked that question of an oncologist, and he did admit yes. But he then said there are, even for biopsy and all of, people don't know. I say biopsy now. Somebody's listening. Which one is biopsy again? Yeah. Mammogram or this? Which one? Which is the safe one? So sometimes too, people fear that. Oh boy. They say some people say ignorance is bliss, but others fear from other past experiences that something, just one moment you are okay. In fact, I don't want to go into conspiracy theories. I saw one report from the American Health Institution that even targeted a specific, not all, but a specific, during COVID. One of the, this thing that they used to check, what is it called again? To test one of the swabs, one of the testing kits.
Okay.
And then if research and for what, I have the report, I'll probably go through it again, that they saw cases where people went from not having COVID, but there was a particular element in that swab which is causing issues now by attacking it. So when people see some of these things, sometimes they are like, you understand. Back to what we said about sometimes you don't want the solution to add to the problem of, you understand.
Science is filled with so many unknowns, and sometimes when you start getting answers, you are shocked. We ask questions in science, and when science begins to give you the answers, we are shocked at what we are getting. So people are asking, should we not stop asking? Should we not stop investigating? Or should we keep investigating? And that is the reason why we are here. This is why we are where we are today, because we keep asking questions. So what I think is the best way for us is our ability to handle whatever answer we get. Keep your mind open, because when you think this answer will be A, you might just come out and the answer is D. How would you respond to those answers? Everybody, every day we keep asking questions, and don't get shocked when you come out tomorrow and hear, but I thought this was what we said today. Or like alcohol, I heard that red wine is safe for the heart. That was what they told us some years ago. But people kept asking questions. Is it true? And recent answer says no, it's not true. It has no effect on the heart. And it breaks some people's heart, because I thought, I love red wine. So when you ask questions, keep your mind open for the answers.
And there are many debates, like eggs, for instance, over time. Don't eat egg, this thing, cholesterol, and now then you hear, you need to eat 5-6 eggs a day. It's like we are limping from one foot to another, trying to make things. But you said something vitally important. You need to keep asking the questions. Carbon dating, for instance, the means by which scientists are able to tell the date of fossils has changed. True. There's new equipment now. So certain fossils that were thought 10, 15, 20 years ago to be millions of years old, with new equipment and tools, they say that, what we thought it was millions, it's actually thousands.
Thousands, yeah.
Doctor, I couldn't pay for this consultation I've had with you. It certainly hasn't been 15 minutes. But before I leave you, I want to put this, I want to look at policy reform and accountability. If you were given the power to change 3 things about the Nigerian health system, and you are free to say, look, I only want to change 1 or 2. But if you could change 3, what will those 3 be?
Change 3. The things about this type of questions is that we know nothing. We know, but hopefully, let's see. If we're to change 3, I will change leadership. Yeah, I think that's number 1. I will change leadership. Number 2, I will change the access of our political leaders to travel out of the country. I will stop it immediately. Nobody, if you're holding a political office, until you leave, no access for you abroad. All your healthcare for all of your family members must be here. And then the final one would be drug control.
Okay, fair enough. My final question will be lack of money on one hand, affordability, lack of money, absence of political will on the other hand. Which of the 2 is more to blame for the Nigerian health crisis?
Political will.
It's this guy here.
Yeah, political will. Not everybody would have the money. Not everybody. Around the world, there are people that don't have the money, but they can access healthcare. The system has ensured that whether you are at the top or you are at the bottom, you can. Political will. If we can fix that, if we can, I think a whole lot of the problems will be solved. A whole lot of them. And that is where the ball lies. Why should somebody be in power and your salary can build a healthcare institution? Why? What are you doing with it? And there are people dying. There are children literally dying because their parents cannot afford healthcare, cannot pay for investigations, or can't pay for medication. There are kids dying today, dying from malaria. Malaria. There are other kids that can't even access surgery. And we have people traveling all over the world. If we can fix that and make healthcare accessible to everybody, whether you are rich or you are poor, I think we've done a whole lot.
Thank you for that. Are you considering leaving Nigeria to take your medical practice overseas? Tough one, eh?
Well, the Lord says, my son, you're in Nigeria, and I'm working with the Lord. The Lord says, stay here. You know what it means, right? The Lord has not spoken. When the Lord speaks, it's all about wherever you find yourself, keep giving your best. Some of us will not leave. I spoke with a doctor. I was treating some patients some years ago, elderly patients, and they were like, please, can you speak with our son or daughter abroad? And when I spoke with this doctor, I could feel the panic in the voice. So if we all leave, who takes care of our parents? Who takes care of our relations? Who? They will be at the mercy of somebody that will tell them on the road, you have the whole problem in the world. Buy this supplement from our... You know that people like that, they move around with some gadgets and they tell you to put your hands there. So for some of us that are here at this time, we're trying to fill in the gap. Some have left. Some are coming back. There's a very popular orthopedic surgeon, a professor who came back to Nigeria to help. So many are coming back. But the truth is, if we all leave, nature forbids vacuum. Some other guys, and those guys are already causing havoc, and we're not even doing anything about them. They will take over.
I like your answer. So you won't leave?
I won't leave. That answer is an open-ended question. I don't subscribe to throwing my life away out to another man and then having to start from scratch. I want to go, if I would go, I want to go on my own terms. I don't want to go where I'm at the mercy of somebody. So if I would ever go, I don't know what God will say, but for now, God says, Fred, you are here and I'm here.
When God tells you otherwise, please let me know. Thank you, Dr. Fred.
Always a pleasure.
It's been fantastic having this
so
conversation with you.
Sir.
Well done, my brother.
Thank you very much
done.
for having me.
Yeah.